Hello everyone and welcome to a very different edition of the Second City podcast. I'm Daniel Sketchley.
And I'm Callum Byrne.
Thanks so much for joining us this week. For those watching on YouTube, I'm sure this will look very different. That's because we're recording live in person from Leyton in Essex. Why are we here, Cal?
Well, obviously Birmingham City were away at Leyton Orient, which is just down the road from here, and I believe you did go to the game yesterday, and then we've had a bit of a nice bank holiday weekend. So I was at Villa Park on Saturday and have come down especially just to see you guys, hoping for 3 points for Villa and no points for Birmingham City, and that's not what happened at all.
No. So we're very grateful to our mate Will. He's going to be a guest on this episode of the podcast. He's an Arsenal fan, but yeah, Leyton Orient is kind of his local team, so we should support him really. But he'll try. He's giving me the middle finger now. But no, so it'd be great to have him on this week because he came with me to the Leyton Orient game, and he'll give us a bit of perspective on that. And he's an Arsenal fan, so obviously he'll then talk to Callum about the Arsenal Villa game that happened at 5:30 at the weekend. So we're going to get through all that. We'll do a bit of housekeeping, talk a little bit about transfers. We're going to talk a little bit about Callum's experience at Villa Park at the weekend's first home game of the season. Going to talk a little bit about West Midlands roundup with like Wolves, West Brom, Coventry, Solihull Moors, all them, and then we'll preview the upcoming games. Got a few Blues games coming up this week.
For Blues, it's like a quadruple game week.
Yeah.
It's only a triple, isn't it?
Yeah, triple coming up because we're recording this before the Fulham game in the Cup. But no, so we're here in Essex. It's been pretty cool. We've had a pretty good bank holiday weekend so far.
Yeah, some interesting top golf techniques yesterday.
Yeah. Kind of the only thing really to do in Leyton without going into London is top golf. It's like a driving range. But honestly, it's really fun when you get going. It is like an airport in there, though. It's really strange setup. It's unlikely anyone's been to a top golf.
You know.
Yeah, but no, what did we do? Watched the F1 last night. That was good. Watched Batman and Robin, the movie, or about an hour of it. I don't know why. Watched Batman and Robin. A few beers. That was pretty good. Watched about an hour of it before we gave up. Yeah. It was funny for about an hour and gave up.
Right. Shall we get Will in here?
Yep.
And we'll do what we're wearing, because this is going to be a crazy and very different what we're wearing to what we normally do. Absolutely.
Let's get into it. Cool. So, yes, here we are. Welcome back. We're going to do what we're wearing next as we start what we always do. We're joined here by... Introduce yourself.
My name is Will Perridge. I am a friend of both Daniel and Callum.
Awesome, man. You came with me to Leyton Orient on Saturday?
Yeah, we did. That was an enjoyable game. The first 20 minutes were good anyway.
Absolutely, and as you can tell, I'm not a professional interviewer. My microphone technique is terrible. We've only got one mic as well, so we should point that out. But awesome. So we'll start with what we're wearing. I'll get mine out of the way. I'm not wearing a blue shirt, as you can probably tell. I am wearing an Atletico Madrid shirt from 20...
Well, this is a rare occasion where I know what you're wearing and you don't.
Yes.
So do you want to guess the shirt you're wearing?
Right. Well, I think I know what year it is. I think this is 2019, 20, I think, away. So the reason I'm wearing this, as I say, we've been in Leyton for a few days. I forgot to bring a blue shirt with me. So I borrowed one off Will. This is actually your shirt.
It is my shirt. I believe it's the third shirt from the 1920 season that I bought in Madrid, actually, at the Metropolitano. So
yeah, because we went to Madrid in 2020. You didn't come, Cal. Sadly, you couldn't come because you were...
At the League Cup final.
What was the score?
Cannot remember. I'm sure we won.
Man City beat Villa 2-1 there.
I distinctly remember watching it in a bar with you, celebrating the Man City goals with another Blues fan who was in there as well.
Yeah, that was pretty. Yeah, I forgot about that actually. And it was to say, El Clasico was on that day, and it was Madrid beating Barcelona 2-0. But yeah, I just thought I don't have a football shirt. I'll borrow one off Will. This one's blue. Atletico Madrid finished third in La Liga this year. Not Antoine Griezmann. Alvaro Morata was top scorer. So yes, story of their life really, third in La Liga. But should we move on to you guys?
Yes, so shall I go next? So this should be quite an easy one for you. White, Aston Villa circle badge, Castor, BK8 sponsor.
Is it last season's away kit for you?
Yes, it is. So obviously we had a really good year last year. This shirt weirdly didn't get worn a lot, really. Our third kit definitely was our go-to away shirt. And it was almost a shirt that we didn't really win many games in because we didn't play much in it. We won away at Burnley in the second away game of the season. But this shirt will always be remembered for the famous night away at Lille, where we lost, drew, and won all on the same night in the Europa Conference League, when we beat them on penalties. So that'll be a famous shirt in years to come, and a very famous night for us. But quality-wise, good, especially compared to the home shirt. The home shirt last year is a disaster in terms of the materials used and the quality of it. And the away shirt, and I think I've got the goalkeeper shirt, which I haven't worn yet, is completely different. It's much closer to what we had the year before with Castore. So I don't know what they were doing with the home kit last year, because it is just an absolute mess. Right, you're wearing a football shirt as well, Will. So this is going to be difficult for me and Dan. So we've got, I guess, this Arsenal shirt, JVC, very old badge, V-neck.
I'm getting like Ian Wright era vibes, late 90s.
You're in the right ballpark.
I'm gonna guess.
Late 90s wasn't the right ballpark.
Say again?
Late 90s wasn't the right ballpark. Ian Wright.
Oh, okay. But did he not play for you in the late 90s? 2000s? Am I going the wrong way?
You're going.
Okay, I'm going to say 19. My guess is going to be 1994 home.
I might go earlier. Let's go for first year of the Premier League. So 92.
Technically, you're both right. It was our home kit from 1992 to 1994. First and second season of the Premier League. This is actually a remake sold by the club themselves. That's why it's not got the Adidas badge on it. But yep, that is 92 to 94 home kit worn by Ian Wright, Tony Adams, Paul Merson and co.
So lovely stuff. So let's get crack into the match. So we might as well start chronologically and go to Leyton Orient versus Birmingham.
Cool, yeah. So Cal obviously didn't go to this game, so just go step out for a sec, and we've got Will filling in for him. How's your first experience been so far on the Second City pod?
I'm enjoying it, to be fair. Yeah, I haven't been on camera for a long time doing anything, so I'm enjoying it. I'm happy to be here.
You're the first guest we've ever had as well in the SCP. Hopefully some more coming soon though. Special guests. I'm looking at Cal there. Sorry, this is yes. You'd never know. I work in TV on a daily basis, would you? Cool. So you came to Leyton Orient with me on Saturday away. Because Leyton Orient's not Brisbane Road is not far from you, right?
No, literally, it's about 5 or 6 stops on the tube. So it is my closest local ground. Yeah, there's a reason. I don't support Leyton Orient, but there's a reason for that. But yeah, it is my local team.
Cool. So obviously we're our Blues fan. Obviously, we said ages ago when Blues got relegated, we were like, what away days do we want to do? And Leyton Orient obviously jumped out because I was like, oh yeah, we can come down to you, that'd be cool. And obviously it fell on the bank holidays, so we were like, definitely. Obviously we couldn't get a ticket in the home in the away end, I should say, because it was only like 1,000 or 1,200 on sale. So we had to sit in the home end, which I've never done before. I've never sat in the opposition end Blues game. But I think we got away with it. I don't think there was any...
Well, obviously we got away. We got the tickets on the day, which we were fine with. And, well, nobody shouted at you or threatened you or there wasn't any hostility at all. So I think we got away with it, yeah.
Yeah, and it was like we were a bit sneaky. Like I had my season ticket on me, and we got a funny photo. Like in the home end, I had like my Blues season ticket. I sort of stood there like with it sort of under my chin, with the Blues badge out. But the only chance I could get in when Duke came on, the Orient fans were going like boo, and I was snuck in like a Duke. I just thought it was quite funny. But what did you think of the game? Blues won 2-1.
I thought it was the first 20 minutes are fantastic, as I said, like back and forth, mistakes, kind of what you want in a football game. I thought Blues were quite clearly the better team, like just technically, I think physically as well. You could tell the difference in the two sides. But Orient were, for a League One level side, a good footballing side. They tried to play it from the back, didn't always get it right. But I quite enjoyed it on a technical level. I think for League One, it was quite high quality.
Yeah, I agree. There's a lot of... Obviously, we kind of expected from Blues, because obviously you went to the Wigan game the week before as well. Like we've seen a lot from Blues, that this more progressive style and playing out from the back and so on, and we've already learned it's going to be very high risk, high reward, possibly. So, I mean, we've conceded 4 league goals already, but scored 6, and I think there's going to be a lot of high-scoring games of Blues, involving Blues, it looks like this year.
Yeah, I would agree with that, because, playing out from the back at any level is it's got a lot of risk to it. At League One level, it's even riskier. The players aren't quite as good as you'd see at the Premier League level. But I think Blues are going to have over most teams that technical advantage, that quality advantage. So if anyone can play it, I would say it's Blues. There were a couple of mistakes. I think one of them led to the Leyton Orient goal. And I also suppose if you're Birmingham City and you've got aspirations of moving up, you want to be promoted this season, and probably sooner or later you want to be starting to get towards the top of the Championship. That playing out from the back style does seem to be the way to go now. So I think long term it is the right thing to do for Blues, even if there's going to be some pain in the short term with it.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned there about the Leyton Orient goals. So should we get into the goals specifically? So all the goals came within the first 20 minutes. If you told me after 20 minutes that the game would end 2-1, I would not have believed you, because it was just a game littered with mistakes, right? So what led to the first Blues goal? The Leyton Orient keeper had an absolute howler, didn't he?
Yeah, so I think Orient, again, as we talk about, trying to play out from the back. And it's a simple one. The centre-backs had split. He went to play it wide to one of these centre-backs, and he just wasn't on. He was under pressure. He got intercepted by Alfie May, I believe. And then the ball fell to Keshi Anderson, and he rolled it into the back of an empty net via the post. And from our angle, it did look for a minute like he'd hit the post and was just going to go across the line. But it did go in. But, yeah, a huge mistake from the goalkeeper.
Yeah, so, yeah, we were almost kind of about as far away from the away fans as you can get, in terms of we were in like the opposite side of the stand, and on the kind of further down we were nearer sort of basically almost diagonally opposite to them. So from our angle it really looked like Keshi Anderson had almost missed the chance. But Greg didn't get his first Blues goal, never scored for Blues. Obviously had a bit of an injury prone year last year, but really impressive start to his League One season. He's started the last 2 games, and I think he's really made himself I think he's got a start against Wigan next Saturday in the league. But then obviously barely pick up Farrell in our end, a really bad mistake for the Leyton Orient goal, and they took full advantage of that. But then their centre-backs had another howler and let Alfie May in like 10 minutes later, and he rounds the keeper and makes it 2-1. So yeah, just full of errors. And I think second half wasn't quite as exciting, I think it's fair to say.
No, it felt like second half that the teams maybe were aware of the mistakes they were making and kind of calmed it down a bit. And there's still some quality on the ball, but there was definitely less chances. Orient never really looked like getting an equaliser, to be honest. But then Blues never looked like making it free either. So the game died off a lot in the second half.
Yeah, I agree. I think I thought we made some good subs, kind of managed the second half a bit better, and that kind of safer second half approach probably did suit us. Did anyone in particular stand out for you from a Blues perspective? I'm just going to throw Pek Sung-ho in there. I thought he was really good. I thought he had probably his best game of the season so far, in my opinion.
Yeah, he's. I think we talked about it in the game that on a technical level, he is one of the best in the league. I always liked Keshi Anderson. I actually liked him last season at the beginning when he first joined you. I was impressed by him. He's got a great work rate, which is what you need from wingers nowadays. You look at the best wingers in the world; they all work back, and he does that. So I did like Keshi Anderson as well. Alfie May is a guarantee of goals at this level. You just look how, I know it was a mistake for his goal, but you look how when he got the ball, there was never a single moment where he wasn't going to score that goal. Yeah. So I think just that moment for him really impressed me, that composure in front of goal. But so I think I'd agree, pay Alfie May and Keshi Anderson for me were the 3 I was most impressed by.
Yeah, completely. I think that's the only thing with Alfie May is I think obviously he scored 3 goals, scored in every league game for us so far. I think this high-risk, high-reward football is paying off so far. I think we are maybe an injury to Alfie May away from some really nervy games, if you know what I mean. Like without May's goals, obviously, I think we'd maybe have been punished a bit more. So it'd be interesting to see if the club do try and get another striker in. Obviously, we've got Duke, but he's kind of being used more as an impact player, and that's kind of what he is at the minute, off the bench. But no, it's promising. If you had to give Blues a grade on this game, on a scale of A to F, what are you thinking? From a neutral perspective.
I would probably go with probably a B, maybe a C+. Solid, if unspectacular. Just one of those games I think you're going to have a lot in League One where you just made the quality difference count. Weren't brilliant, weren't terrible, but did enough comfortably, I think, to win the game.
Yeah, I completely agree. And on that basis, my 3-word match review is going to be a 4-word match review. Got the job done. Got job done. And 3-word there for you.
Job done.
2-word. You have a 2-word match review there. Job done. And yeah, I agree. My man of the match, I'd give probably Peck. I thought he was excellent. But Keshi Anderson, honourable mention. And cool. Nice as well to tick off another away ground I've never been to before, Brisbane Road. That's kind of why I'm enjoying League One. Somebody's done Wickham and Leyton Orient already, so that's been really fun. What do you think of the stadium? You've been before, haven't you? Not the first time going.
I went a long time ago in high school to watch a game. So it'd been a long time. I thought it was quite a nice stadium, to be honest. Nothing spectacular, but just 4 solid stands. Nice pitch actually. But yeah, it was for a League One level. I thought it was quite nice.
Anyway, that's Blues. Let's sub Callum in and move on to your game, because you had a very exciting half-5 game.
Right, so I guess we're going to have to talk about Villa Arsenal, which I don't mind. I actually don't mind talking about it because while...
Very happy to talk about it.
Yeah, I know you probably are. So I guess from our perspective, obviously, we won on the opening day against West Ham, which I was maybe a bit surprised of. We didn't have a great pre-season, and then we were very, very good on the opening day. And to be honest, I was really buzzing for Saturday. I was really excited, and I really thought we were going to get something. I can't remember what I said on the match predictions last week, but I was thinking a 2-1 or a 2-2. A few people before the game were saying clean sheet. We don't keep clean sheets, so I wasn't expecting that at all. But I thought we played really well, especially for an hour, and it felt like the game was drawing towards a Villa goal, and then it didn't come, and Leandro Trossard came off the bench and scored, and from then on I thought Arsenal were absolutely fantastic. But what were your kind of thoughts on the game? Because I thought it was relatively evenly matched in the first half, but the second half I feel like we were definitely the stronger until the goal.
Can we take the right? So for me, I felt in the first half we had control without being dangerous in any real way, other than Saka had a chance. There's a couple of small half chances. I thought we had control, other than there was a couple of moments when, obviously the Watkins first chance, when you kind of caught us and had a chance or two. But I felt we were okay, and I felt you were okay as well. But then beginning of the second half, I just felt the game was drifting, really. And I was watching it here at home, and Gary Neville actually said on commentary, he said, I think if either team loses this, they won't have any complaints. And I did agree, because, you said you played well. I thought you were okay, but I thought neither team, considering, we're meant to be a title challenging team, you're at home with a great home record, I think neither team did enough to really go out and win the game. So and then obviously it was just finishing, really, what did it in the end.
Yeah, I do wonder if maybe, obviously game week 2, it's quite a big clash for game week 2. I suppose both teams did win on the opening day, but it's the sort of game where, I think if you'd offered maybe both teams a draw before the match, I don't think either of them would have turned it down, maybe. We definitely set out to frustrate you anyway, and I feel like we did do that for the most part. But yeah, Ollie missed a couple of golden chances, which I genuinely think if he gets those 2 chances in 3-4 weeks' time, he buries both of them. It's just, he hasn't played he didn't play a lot at the Euros, and then hasn't had a pre-season. He played 60 minutes at West Ham, played 60 minutes again on Saturday. The next international break is just terrible timing for him, because he probably will go and then not play, or he'll play one of the 2 games that England play, when he could probably do some behind closed doors games for Villa. So terribly timed international break, but yeah, golden chances. That's probably my 3-word match review. Rude missed chances, because I think if we'd have got the first goal, I think we would have gone on to win the game.
No, I'd agree. I think whoever got the first goal was always going to win that game, and I think once we got that first goal, never felt we were going to lose it from that point. Never felt, to me, like we were ever going to concede. Or like you had a couple of chances, but I think we saw the game out really well. That was the best of us, really, when we took that lead and we just first killed it 10 minutes later with the second, and then just, coasted towards the end, really. But yeah, it was a big game for game week 2. You talk about a draw, hoping to have taken a draw. I think for us,
could also afford a draw.
I think that's the problem. When you're competing with Manchester City, a draw is a loss, and that is just, it's not like what it used to be. You look at, I was saying in the Premier League, you look at 10 years ago, Leicester won it, Chelsea winning it. The level, it was a high level, but it wasn't as high as it is now. You could afford a draw away from home. A draw away at Villa would have been a good result. Now, any draw anywhere is a poor result. So I think we need the win there, and I think it's huge for us psychologically as well. Having, lost twice to you in games that we should have won both games last season, quite frankly. The one at Villa Park, we were the better team and wasteful. The game in the Emirates, we battered you for the first half and then just completely fell apart in the second. So yeah, we did need that win quite badly, I think. And to say we deserved it might be a little bit kind, but I think we did enough in terms of just the professional aspect of it and just being what big teams are, which is not playing your best, but finding a way.
Yeah, and you know, I'm very encouraged from what we saw. I mean, if I did I do a grade, the B feels a bit high when we lost the game, but I genuinely thought we played very well, so I will give it a B. I thought Morgan Rogers was outstanding. I think Sky gave David Raya man of the match, which is fair enough because the save, while Watkins probably should score the second big chance he has, it's a phenomenal save, and certainly when I was stood in the whole end, could not believe that we didn't score there. Half of the stand was celebrating already because they should have scored. But Morgan Rogers, and there's a moment in the first half where he span round Declan Rice, got round Thomas Partey, and then got into the box, and David Raya pulled off another good save. But yeah, he's definitely one to watch this year, and someone that could maybe be a breakout star in the England squad come the end of the year if he can keep himself fit. Would he be your man of the match, or would you give it to Raya?
I think, for me, I look at 3 players. I think for the first 70 minutes, I think you're either looking at Raya or Rogers, but I think once Trossard came on, he completely changed the game. For that last 20 minutes, he was phenomenal. But I thought Rogers, as you said, was excellent. He's not a player I've ever watched a huge amount. I knew he had some potential, but he thoroughly impressed me. And you know a player's good when you're like, can you please sub him off? Like, you're looking at your subs and you're thinking, no, take Rogers off, because I think he's got that profile of very technically good, very quick on his feet, but he's got the physicality to go with it. So many players you see, they've got that quick feet, but physically they can get bullied. You can't bully him. So he's got a lot of potential. I do like him.
Yeah, and so 2-0 loss, but we go again next week. So we will get to the West Midlands roundup, but I would quite like to touch on the housekeeping first, just because my housekeeping is mostly from Villa Park on the opening day, and so we're still on Villa, sort of. Matchday experience, first home game of the season. It was very much the good, the bad, the ugly, really. So we have redone the club shop. I went in there on match day. Fantastic new experience in there. The shop's much bigger. They can certainly handle the demand on match day. Bit of work, I think, still to do on if you're having shirt printing. Obviously, you can get it in the store, but the queue inside the store was maybe like an hour, and there was a porter cabin, at least outside the north stand, where there was no queue at all, with people buying the shirts and the printing in the store, and then just trying to get it done in the stores. Whereas I feel like maybe there should be some pointers of you can go here, and here to do it. You don't have to just go here, but that will work over time. So I thought the new club store, fantastic. Bad, getting into the ground. So they've obviously, I don't know if Blues have done this, Dan, but Villa have now moved to digital season tickets. Some people don't like it, some people do. My match tickets at Villa Park for the last year and a half, 2 years, have all been digital tickets anyway, so it's nothing new for me. But for the season tickets, it caused chaos outside the ground. It took over an hour to get in. I was at Villa Park maybe around 3:30, and I was dawdling around going in the shop and that, but I didn't actually get into the ground until 5:25 in the end, because it was so slow getting in.
I'm going to say it happened to us last season. First game of the season, I was coming to shop.
Yeah.
Quickly. First game of the season for us last season, we changed from cards to digital on your phone, and we had exactly the same problem. Massive queues outside the Emirates, and I think kickoff did get delayed 15 minutes. So it does seem to be a thing that a lot of clubs are doing. We know somebody in the Brighton ticket office. He said they had exactly the same problems with them. So it does seem to be a trend the clubs are doing. Just thought I'd...
And is it, so you mentioned the switch to digital season tickets. There's not a physical one at all?
No, so some people were able to order physical cards at a charge of, I think it was around £20, but it was at the club's discretion whether you fell into the categories to be allowed one. So there'll obviously be like elderly supporters that don't have a smartphone, for example.
See, I mean, so look at Blues this year, they had the option to have a digital season ticket as well as your physical one, but everyone who I know also has a physical one, and that is what they're... I mean, I much rather have a physical one. Not to sound like really old school or whatever, but like you meant, like one you just mentioned there about, like, you know, maybe like an older person who maybe doesn't have like a smartphone or whatever. I kind of feel like, in my opinion, I feel like it is too early to like shift everything. I hate going to like gigs and you don't get a physical ticket anymore, like football tickets, even like cinema. I know that's a different discussion, I guess. But I feel like making you pay an extra 20 quid for a physical season ticket, I think is crazy, personally. I think it should just be for it, like a given. I think it's such a small... I know you have like...
And there's no guarantee you'll get one.
Sure, and I know you have like 40,000 season ticket holders, but why is it to them? You know, a bit of plastic to help people get in the ground.
Yeah, I don't know why it caused so much carnage. I don't know whether it's just people aren't used to using their Apple Wallet or what have you, because the ground has been catered to it for a while. Because as I say, I've used that over the time, but it's hard to tell. I think sometimes some of the turnstiles went down at some point, which obviously you're going to have problems like this even with the cards if the turnstiles just go down. But I would imagine it will get smoother as the next few weeks and the next few home games go on, and there will be teething issues, I assume, with it. But yeah, it just wasn't a good look. And just seeing huge queues throughout the whole car park and down Trinity Road, and it was insane. And that was the bad. In terms of the ugly, a lot of good stuff has gone into Villa Park in terms of making a lot of experiences better. The fan zones outside are going to be really good. There is going to be a new fan zone for the Everton game, which they've started building already. But there's been a big push from Chris Heck and a lot of people at the club for the GA Plus experience. I mean, none of us are going to ever go for a GA Plus experience because it's not catered to us.
I don't know what that is, GA Plus.
So for example, there's like hospitality areas that aren't like corporate hospitality. So you'll pay maybe £150 to £200, and you'll get a nice fancy lounge, like the gourmet burger and a seat. Basically you're not just on the concourse like us peasants.
Yeah, well.
Commoners. Yeah, and so obviously there's a big push for that, and because obviously, especially the Premier League, overseas fans come over, they just want to watch the odd game, they'll buy in the shop, they'll pay for an expensive ticket. I mean, we've gone overseas and maybe paid a bit too much for a shirt or a ticket somewhere else. But the actual concourses for the normal GA fans is not great, especially in the upper hole. The urinals in the upper hole got clogged, and from what I've heard, there was piss all over the floor at full time, running into the concourse and things like that. It's game week 1.
Yeah, I think I saw a video on Twitter of your toilets. It wasn't nice.
No, one of the most historic stands in English football, and it's just not really been looked after. Something to sort out for the future.
Quickly onto housekeeping with Blues. A little bit on the transfer front. We're recording this on the 26th. There's about 4 or 5 days left of the transfer window. We had one outgoing and one incoming. So the outgoing has been Manny Longhello. It's gone out on loan to Cambridge United in League One as well. I'm still in the mindset that we're a Championship club. No, League One are in the same. Cambridge are in the same league as us now. So he's gone out there on loan. Obviously, Gary Monk's the manager there. He wouldn't have worked with him at Blues. That wouldn't line up. But I thought that was interesting because also Gary Gardner and Michael Morrison are there as well. So a bit of a strong ex-Blues contingent there.
Was it David Stockdale there for a time as well? Or I might be thinking, maybe I'm thinking of Mark Bunn. But I thought Stockdale maybe went there.
Possibly. He's played for a lot of EFL clubs. We learned about 1 million times. Possibly. But they drew 4-4 at the weekend against Blackpool. They were 4-1 down as well and came back to draw 4-4. And Longhello, I think he was subbed on with about 20 minutes to go. I think he definitely made his debut anyway. So good luck to him. I think he's one who's came in for a lot of stick at times at Blues. And, a deal of it was justified. But, good luck to him. I hope he's able to get his career really back on track. He's not seen much game time recently at Blues. We've had one incoming. There was a few rumours about it, and it was announced on Sunday night. Ben Davies is coming on loan. He's a centre-back. He's coming from Glasgow Rangers. He was the one. He was at Preston for a few years.
And then when Liverpool had their centre-back crisis in 2020, 2021, they just signed him for some reason and then didn't really play him. So technically you've signed an ex-Liverpool centre-back.
Yeah, I think he's 29 now, I think. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see how he fits in. I'd imagine he would be back up. It looks like Bielik and Clara are kind of the two at the minute that Chris Davies is going for. I keep wanting to say Chris Harris. I don't know why.
I did that last week.
Yeah, I'm very new to that. We just had Top Gear on here, to be fair, so maybe that was it. Interesting. I think he'll come in as a backup, but yeah, another centre-back. We needed one, to be fair. I think Samstead is more of a full-back that we got in the other week. So no, should be interesting. So we'll keep tabs on that. But yeah, when he went to Liverpool a few years ago, it was absolutely bizarre. I remember it was a really quiet January window as well, and they just kept talking about that signing.
Well, they signed him and Ozan Kabak, who then had a horror stint at Norwich the following year. Yeah, he was dreadful.
Yeah, very strange. So yeah, that's it for the Blues housekeeping. Cool, let's get on to a bit of a roundup of the other teams in the West Midlands this weekend. We'll start with Walsall. Obviously, they were top of League 2 before the start of the weekend. They lost 1-0 at Tranmere, and that's despite the missing a penalty just before that as well. Bit of a shame for them, but still a good start to the season.
Yeah, because it's hard to know what is the aim for Walsall this year, because they've sort of not yo-yoed, but sometimes they're fighting for playoffs, sometimes they're near the bottom of the league. So strong start, maybe a playoff push is what they're going for this year, which, 2 wins from 3, it's not a bad start.
No, very good start. I think Matt Sadler will definitely be pretty happy with that. Blues have got them in the Bristol Street Motors Trophy, our opening game, as we go for back-to-back wins in that, just 30 years apart in that tournament. September 3rd, so I think that's next Tuesday, I think. So looking forward to that. See them in the flesh. Be an interesting matchup that. West Brom, on the other hand, they won 2-1 away at Stoke, and Josh Madger scored again. He's up to 4 goals already this season. Very good start for them this season, in the league at least.
Yeah, and we saw from Josh Madger when he was at Sunderland as well, when he had his breakout year was in League One. Very good championship player, scoring a lot of goals. And you know what? I think maybe we weren't really knowing what to expect from West Brom this year, but strong start, maybe against the odds they could be going for a playoff push as well, if they can keep it up. I mean, draw with Leeds, won all the others.
Yeah.
It's definitely a strong start for them.
Yeah, that cup game away at Fleetwood aside, where they made 11 changes, they've actually had a good start in the league, 7 points. So I think they'll be pretty happy with that. Coventry, they drew away at Bristol City, and this is despite the fact they only played there away in the League Cup about 10, 11 days ago. Where they won 1-0 that time, but they drew 1-1 this time. Casey Palmer scoring the goal for them. I don't know what you think, Al. I know they're only on 4 points after 3 games, but I don't think that's a bad point away from home.
Yeah, I think they would have rather have swapped the League Cup and the league game around. Yeah, I mean, I was going to completely contradict myself with what I just said about West Brom, but maybe a slow start for Coventry, but you see it in the Championship as well. There's always a team, I mean, you're a great example of it from last year, started the season very, very well and just tailed off and got relegated. I mean, that happened to Huddersfield a couple of years ago, Reading. So there are teams that do well that are slow starters, so maybe Coventry will be that, but it does feel like it's been a slow start for them if they want to go for a playoff push.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's get on to, undoubtedly, from a neutral's perspective, probably the game of the weekend in general, to be honest, not in the Premier League. Wolves 2, Chelsea 6. We were playing golf, not golf, we were at a driving range, we should clarify, Top Golf in Essex. And we sort of had the game on the phone, but what a mental result that is, or mental game, 6-2.
Yeah, I mean, again, we spoke about a few weeks ago, Wolves maybe just drifting at the moment. And Chelsea, you don't really know what you're going to get from them. I certainly did not expect them to score 6 goals yesterday. Yeah, it's a bad result for Wolves, really.
Yeah, and it's kind of the Arsenal game. You can kind of, I mean, it's Arsenal away, 2-0. It's quite respectable, even if they were 100% second best. Chelsea at home, I bet they were kind of hoping with everything going on there and just the kind of chaos with probably a good time to play them, ironically, with this transfer window saga hanging over them and all this just crazy stuff going on at Chelsea. And it was kind of written, wasn't it? Madueke having the game of his life. So what was it? On Instagram, he basically was slagging Wolverhampton off as a place. Is that what it was?
So, I mean, I imagine like most athletes, he has two Instagram accounts. One for his professional page and one for his personal page. And he put on his professional page by accident. I think he put some what a shithole this place is, and then tagged the location as Wolverhampton. And then realised and deleted it, but it was already, the internet, it was already out there. People saw it immediately. And so to do that and then go and score a hat-trick the next day, when normally you'd say it's written that Chelsea would lose 2-0 and then they'd put a tweet out going, it's not a bad place, this, or something. But it's been a bad start for Wolves, hasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And I do rate Gary O'Neill as a manager. I think he absolutely deserves the chance to, get Wolves season going and everything. And I'd be interested to hear any Wolves fans' opinions on that. But yeah, bad start, 6 goals to Chelsea. I know they've signed a ton of players, but their attacking force is nothing compared to some of the other big teams up there. So yeah, disappointing weekend for them.
Yeah, and I don't. I'm not saying they're going to go down because I don't think they will, but they need to get out of this cycle of selling their best players and not being able to replace them. I know they've got the financial difficulties. But we spoke about it last week. To sell Neto and who was the other player they sold in this window?
Max Kilman.
Yeah, Kilman. So to sell both of those and then not be able to replace them because because of PSR rules. There's problems there, and it happened to Leicester. It happens to so many clubs. You can't keep selling your best players because you will get caught out eventually. So they've got a few days left in the window. They lack goals, and maybe defensively, they might need another defender.
Yeah, I completely agree. No updates yet on the Ramsdale thing. We don't really know what's going on there. Obviously, we talked about it on the pod last week. Wolves were in for Aaron Ramsdale on loan. We were actually talking to Will about this, and he says if it was maybe a loan with an option to buy, he would understand why Arsenal would maybe do it, but he doesn't really understand how Arsenal would benefit from just a loan. So yeah, that was an interesting perspective to get on that. Cool. Let's move on to kind of the lower leagues, or the non-league, I should say. The mystery of Tim Flowers, he's still in a job because Redditch won 2-1 against Stratford Town at the weekend. So yes, Tim Flowers, well done. He's not coming to another Midlands club near you soon, not just yet anyway.
Thank you to the comment on the last video that kind of solved the mystery of why Tim Flowers is going around Midlands clubs, because that was actually genuinely interesting to know.
Yeah, go check that out on our last video. A commenter helped explain why Tim Flowers has had so many jobs in the West Midlands. So thank you for that. I do appreciate it. We're recording this on Bank Holiday Monday. They're actually playing Stourbridge today. So Redditch asked, that'd be interesting. And they play Bromsgrove on the 24th of September. So yeah, obviously maybe check that out if you live locally, want to see some non-league football locally. And then Solihull Moors, they lost to Eastleigh and then drew with Braintree this last week. That puts them 18th in the National League, so it's not been an amazing start at all for them. Disappointing after having a good season last year, coming close to promotion, and the FA Trophy victory as well. So yeah, it's not been a great start for them, but early days. So yeah, I think that's our roundup of other goings on in the West Midlands at the minute.
Preview the next games then. So I guess we'll go chronologically. So you're playing in the Carabao Cup second round. You're away at Fulham on, I guess, the day of release of this podcast. So, score prediction?
So the weird thing in this is we didn't think we'd be able to squeeze an episode in before this game last week. So I briefly touched on it last week, so I won't spend too long on it. I think Fulham will probably beat us. They're a good team. They're already good. They won 2-1 at the weekend against Leicester.
Against Leicester, yeah.
Emil Smith-Rowe scored his first goal. They'll probably make changes. We probably will as well, but I think I said this last week. We made a load of changes for the cup game against Challen, and I actually didn't think the team looked any weaker, really. Like, maybe a little bit, but nothing major. Be interested to see Ryan Allsop play, and if he has a really good game, after Peacock Farrell's mistake at the weekend, who knows, Chris Davies may swap Allsop in for the game against Wigan at the weekend. And it was interesting with the squad numbers, we don't actually have a number one this year. He didn't give either of them number one, which I think is a sign that, it's a bit of a... he's kind of open to both of them, so I won't be shocked if they both start a number of games in the league this year. So I'll probably say 2-0, 2-1 Fulham. Obviously, it probably has happened by the time you're watching this. Hope I'm wrong. Love it if we manage to nick a result there, because I obviously fully believe in trying to get a good cup run going. But yeah, that's Tuesday night against Fulham.
Well, we don't have a literal number one anymore as well, because Martinez has changed his number and signed a new deal as well. So
yeah, really nice.
Yeah, so that'll pretty much cover it. If he stays, that'll be the end of his career at Bella. So that'll be something. But yeah, we haven't got a number one, which is weird. I don't know. It's weird not having a literal number one goalkeeper. Yeah. So we're both playing at 3:00 on Saturday. So I'll touch on Villa. So we're away at Leicester. A reasonable start to the season for them. Maybe a point against the run of play against Spurs on Monday Night Football in game week 1. Then they've lost to Fulham, as we just touched on. Got to be going for the win, I think, for us. I was there at the King Power when we last played there in that 2-1 where Bertrand Traore scored a last-minute wonder goal. So another away day like that would be absolutely marvellous. Yeah, given how we've started the season, I'd be fairly confident of us getting a win. Leicester, financial problems, points deductions, inbound. I don't think they've had a great window, really. I really don't feel like they've strengthened that well. I mean, they've signed Jordan Ayew, Bobby Reed, just Oliver Skip. They've signed for 25 million. I don't see it. But so I'll go for a comfortable 2-0 win, I think. Jamie Vardy will probably score maybe, but I think we'll comfortably get over the line.
Yeah, that wouldn't shock me, unfortunately. I'd obviously like to see Leicester get something, but I don't see it, and I don't really fancy their chances to start this year. Cool. 3 o'clock Saturday, we've got Wigan at home. Wigan have not had a great start to the season at all, although they did win at the weekend. They beat Crawley 1-0 at home. But yeah, they haven't started well. Been in League One for a few years now. And yeah, I think they're sitting in 18th or 19th at the minute. Out the League Cup. First win was at the weekend, so yeah, not a good start at all. I do fancy us to beat them, despite them finally getting off the mark. And yeah, like I say, it'd be interesting to see how the Fulham game maybe affects the squad selection. I think Keshi Anderson's done more than enough to keep his place. Be interested to see Ryan Allsop start a league game. But yeah, I think we'll just keep it rolling. I think we'll get 3 wins from 4. Hopefully another good crowd. Obviously our first home game since the Reading game on the only day of the season. So yeah, looking forward to it. The only thing is we also played Wigan. Just gives me flashbacks to 2 years ago. We played them in this like late summer, late August game. And it was also a Saturday at 3 o'clock, I think. And I remember, sun was out, looking forward to it. I really enjoy these early season games and the weather's still good, kind of through August and September. And I remember that game. So he would have been the manager, John Eustace. And Wigan were like the worst team in the league. They might have gone. In fact, I said earlier they've been in League One for a while. They can't actually be that long. Must be only their second year in League One, actually. Because we played them this season, 2022. And I remember we were like so hyped up. We'd started the season pretty well. We're going to beat them. Do you know the game I'm referring to?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, and they actually got a man sent off after like 10 minutes. Atmosphere was really great. So Duke gets fouled when he's 1-on-1. We can go down to 10 men. And so I'll get onto that, Callum, for those listening. And instead, Wigan, because they went down to 10 men, they just went absolute, not blaming them for this, they went absolute rear guard all game. And then scored a last-minute goal to win 1-0. I was furious. And Duke, I love Duke, but he did dive for the... so then he got a post. After the game, he got a 2-match ban. So it was a disaster all round. It's awful. Terrible game. So hopefully it's better than that. So, yeah. Side note, someone else who I thought just, again, looked really exciting at the weekend, Yokoyama. Be interested to see if he's able to get a bit more game time as well. Maybe not start a game yet, but I think...
the League Cup.
Yeah, good shout, actually. Or, getting on to our next game, we'll preview it now, Walsall in the Bristol Street Motors Trophy, a week, so it'll be, 3rd of September, which I think is Tuesday. I'd be interested to see him play there. I'm going to go to the game, just to kind of experience it. Never been to... we went to the final of the year, Trophy last year, but I've never seen Blues playing it. So, again, another thing, let's enjoy it whilst we're there. Hopefully it's only for a year that we're even eligible for this competition, but let's take it seriously. Let's try and do something in it, and... another trip to Wembley would be amazing. Obviously, first one for 14 years if we can get there. So, yeah, that's 3rd of September. I reckon we'll win that one. 3-0. 3-0, because I don't think our changes make us much weaker.
Does it feel like it's written this year that you'll draw Aston Villa under 23s in this tournament?
Well, so you're in the northern section of the draw. We're in the southern, but does it affect...
Weird quirk.
But does it affect the knockout rounds? I don't know if it does.
Well, you will find out in a few weeks.
Will's nodding and mouthing. So yes, I think it does. Yeah, because we've got Fulham under 21s in our group, but I don't know. I'll probably go if I'm free, but I don't know. I kind of disagree with the under 21s being in that competition. Cool. That just about wraps us up for this week, I think.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. So thank you everyone for watching and listening. I know it's been something a little bit different, but thank you to Will for being our guest this week. Absolute pleasure having him on and being a sort of reference point from a different perspective. So yeah, that's us for this week.
Yeah, like, share, subscribe, 5-star reviews, follow us on TikTok, Instagram, at 2ND City Pod, and Twitter. I knew I was forgetting one of them. I was like, we normally do 2. What's the third one? So, yeah. And that's probably about it for this week. So, Dan, I'll catch you next week. I'm jetting off to Ireland tomorrow, so hope I'm not going to be jet lagged next week. That would be something. So hopefully it doesn't rain, and I will see you next week. So up the Villa.
Shit on the Villa, keep it on, safe trip to Ireland, and we'll see you all next week.